Well, hello. Good morning. When you're going to party, go on ça cocktail party, chérie.
On t'y bon de moi rencontrer l'autre jour qui dit moi même sortir ça pour m'habiller comme ça.
Excusez-moi. She's definitely cocktail ready, folks.
Cocktail ready? Don't you mean brunch ready? Breakfast ready, girl? It's morning.
Excusez-moi. I'm sorry, Miss Lady D3. Oh, brunch ready. Always. And that's how you're supposed to be operating on the Always Ready program. And are you guys ready for us this morning?
Yeah, so just let me know. But anyways, hey guys, hey. Welcome back to another episode of Eye to Eye. Okay, with your lovely host, D1. I'm D2.
And then she's D3. Folks, she is D3. I guess she's so ready for that brunch this morning.
At this point, I am D2 because D3 never want to be on camera. So I'm D2. I'm taking sorry. But shout out to D2. I'm D3. But shout out to D2 for, always being our support system in the background, for doing all the back work, all the editing and everything else that he does so well.
Wow. Yes.
Appreciate you. Partner. But today, interesting conversation. Kind of like updates of what's going on, and of course we have to bring it back to our country because we are Haitian before anything else.
Right, exactly. And of course, the Haitian runs deep in our blood. We're never gonna give that up. I mean, we don't have a choice. Nobody asked us what we wanted to be when we were getting born, so we got left out with that. It is what it is, right? So we'll take it. And on that note, like, we're about to jump right on in, but we just want to remind y'all to make sure you like,
subscribe, and comment.
Exactly. So shout out to all the people who's been doing it.
What you want to hear, what you don't want to hear, all the feedbacks are very welcome.
Amen and amen to that. So go ahead, Miss Lady D3.
You know what? So why she always got to put me there? Like, we always make them there for my me, and I don't like that. Okay.
I believe the children are the future. Teach them well and let them lead the way. Lead the way, my darling.
This early in the morning, Lord have mercy. But on today's episode of Eye to Eye, we're touching base on, as we all know, July 7th was a couple of days ago. Today is July 8th, so July 7th was yesterday. So today, so we all know that marks the 1-year anniversary of the assassination of our former president, Jovenel Moise.
May he rest in peace.
So we just wanted to kind of touch up on that, and then, see a year later what's been going on. So of course, we know on July 7, 2021, at around 1 a.m., gunmen came in and attacked the former president's home in Pelerin 5. The first lady was airlifted to Jackson Memorial, and that's where she was treated for her wounds, but unfortunately our president didn't make it. So our prime minister, after a bunch of blah blah prime minister blamed the attack on a group of unidentified men who they say spoke Spanish, and we all can say that the assassination was linked to Moise wanting to basically curb narcotics trafficking, and he also planned to expose the officials that were part of the officials that were also a part of, messing up our country, messing up our safety, the people in charge of the kidnapping and everything. So all, which we know who they are, we just, not to mention the 12 of them people.
Right. Listen, not to mention, and just so, I just wanted to clarify that when she said prime minister, she's not talking about Ariel Henry, who's
the prime minister now.
He's running the show now. We're talking about I don't even remember his name, but
Claude Joseph.
I thought Jean for some reason in my head. I didn't want to say that.
Lord, let us pray for you, child. How you not? Oh, Ready.
I'm gonna say Jean-Joseph Claude, I guess. Okay.
but unfortunately for even through the year later, there's been a lot of speculations. They blame it on so many people, and
Blame
they
game continues.
multiple people. We've had what is it, how many it was 11 people of those that got arrested,
I mean, they were getting a lot of people. Like, I guess all of the Colombians at the time, they were detained.
Yes.
But the sad part about this whole scenario situation is the simple fact that we're not getting updates. I don't know who's really doing the investigation. I know, like, it's a murder, it's a crime scene, it's an assassination. Those things take a while, but to not really give any heads up, like, there was so many speculations. Some people even said that the wife was involved. Some people say it's the oligarch.
A lot of people, the wife was involved because of how calm she was during her interview. I ain't even gonna lie to you, I was one of those people.
No, but it's true. Like, you know, if something like this happened to my husband, I think I would be so frantic, like, you know, but I guess that's what it is when you're like in politics, you are trained to be poised, calm, and I don't know, but I'm like, well, how do you forget to be human?
I'd be screaming, "Oh my Jesus, my husband! Oh my God, Lord!"
Yeah. I would definitely be top dramatic on that. And on top of this, I don't know if you guys are even updated, but did you know they already made a movie about it? Yeah, it's called July 7th. It's coming. I don't know. I forgot when it's coming out, but they already have a movie about it. And Jean Lewis, Haitian.
Watch.
You're not gonna watch it?
I don't think I want to watch it, but I'm sure I am because the people that I live with, my dad and my brother, they're gonna watch it. So not to stuck to that TV too. But
some people were saying like, oh, it's too soon. How we don't have answers and they already have a movie out. Like, what's going on? Like, this is insane. This is the way to cover up stuff even more. And
like I said a year ago, this was a movie. It looked like the bad movie with a bunch of bad actors, bad actresses. it was just dumb. Like, first of all, but that's how you know that the people responsible for this actual assassination are not just anybody, because how the hell they can't find just regulars? Like, if they were just regular people, they would have been put them in jail.
That's usually how it goes. That's why, like, when you have power, you get away with murder.
Exactly. So that already, well, I'm telling you, I've been doing my own investigation. That tells me right there who it is and who it is. And they should put me on the case. Like, I'll come up against.
Oh, no, Moshe, you know, if we're all looking for answers at the end of the day, go ahead by all means. They have all of these gangs running the show now. So I don't know what that's supposed to mean behind all of it. But
and my question is for everyone listening, and to you too, Daz, is that since the main thing when Jovenel was president was that he was the reason why Haiti got so bad, right?
Yeah.
And to us now is, since he's been dead, has Haiti gotten better or has it gotten worse?
I feel like it has gotten worse, and I think a lot of people would agree because kidnappings is still crazy. I actually just know somebody close to me whose cousin just got kidnapped, and they're asking for $300,000, I think it was.
Like, where they think his money out from, our butt cheeks?
Somebody else got freed for $650,000. So I think they're believing that we have it. So if they keep kidnapping these people and they're asking for ransom and we actually provide it, they're going to keep doing it because they're going to be like, you know what? Because when you're in Haiti, you do believe that Muna America rich. But you have it better than them.
It's not the case.
Listen, all I already know is if you guys ever hear that I get kidnapped, tell the kidnappers, may her soul rest in peace. Nobody's gonna be put in a position to go dig up money to come and free me. That don't make no sense. It doesn't make any sense when I'm still gonna be abused, beaten, and probably still dead anyways, and not really be released.
Yo, I ain't even gonna listen. This is what my dad said. My dad said, listen, if God forbid he ever go stay there and they kidnap them, he's literally gonna tell them, like, listen, whatever you guys plan to do, y'all might as well do it because my kids ain't got no money to give y'all. My
Exactly.
yeah. So y'all might as well go and do whatever y'all gotta do. Take care of it now because it's gonna be a waste of time trying to call them.
Amen to that. A matter of fact, don't even bury me. Give my body up for science. Let them investigate or research me. Because this is insane. Like, you asking somebody for $300,000. A lot of us won't even see that in a lifetime in a bank account. You know what I'm saying? Like you don't have that many people who's making six figures.
Exactly. And so you mean to tell me somebody has $300,000? You think they're living in Haiti right now? And even if they do, how are they so easily accessible for you to be able to grab them? Like, come on.
No. The person is not worth $300,000. The guy, you prend y a demandé famille qui l'autre bord de l'eau.
That's what I'm saying. But where do you think the family is gonna bring out $300,000? And you even $300,000 American. You have even Haiti. How?
And you know what's sad about those kind of things? Moun kap mande $300,000. Même some they sound good love you laden. Because a lot of them, they just work for somebody else. Like, they still have to report that money, drop the money to somebody. You know what I'm saying? Like, and they just, I'm like, you see this country lacks education. Parce que si tu as une mentalité, tu as pensé que, oh, moi qui ça pour vous, on petit pourcentage m'a joué là-dedans. I'm saying, like, the kidnappers, like, if they were really smart, they would start really thinking, like, okay, so I have a gun and I get to kidnap this person, but who's really cuffing all the money? I'm only getting a percentage, or maybe you just threaten not to kill me if I don't do it. And that's about it. But at the same time, like, being in a gang makes you kind of dumb. No, for real, because if you could use it to do the opposite, if you could use it to kidnap people, imagine if you use it to do the opposite.
To do the opposite, to help people.
Yeah.
Right. That would be better, but unfortunately, our mentality. But I think it also comes from a lot of children are abandoned when they're younger in Haiti. And a lot of children are abandoned when they're younger. They grow up in a lot of, like, I can't say broken homes because for some odd reason, Haitians don't believe in broken homes, but they grow up in a lot of poverty. So because they do, a lot of these kids ends up in the streets, they're begging, nobody's helping them. And people in Haiti has a way of méprising people. Like, so because of that, like, they grow up with all this animosity, all this anguish inside, and then
they do, and that's what's really giving us that bad look, because they're trying to put this new narrative that Haitians are gangsters, they're traitors, they're, you know, good, they'll give up their country, you know, like, that's really like a bad look. And not to say that other countries don't have the same, you know, bad parts of it, but the Haitians now, they make it look like, because with the killing of Jovenel, it's like, that's your own people. It's like, you did not have not one security guard jump for your defense.
Your defense. And that's the truth. Now it's like, did they get paid off or something like that? Which most likely they did.
Yeah, but you remember when Judas betrayed Jesus? He got paid. How much of it did he really enjoy? You know what I'm saying? And then Jesus already knew he was going to do that. He was like, okay, fais vite, fin, fais soit fair, and get it over with. Then he got his little coins.
And then dead, like, literally a couple of days later.
Not even. Well, some movies show you he got it right away, and then what he did, the guilt just kicked in, and he went and committed suicide.
So that's my thing with, but then again, it also shows you that everything you do is always going to end up biting you in the butt. That's never going to change.
That's true. Things will backfire. But I'm going to wait to see what that movie is like, because I'm wondering, like, for you to do a movie like this, you have to have permission, I guess, from the family. I don't know if they did. I didn't really research it. I hope we can play the clip here.
Like, at least a small snippet of it. I need to see. They're probably going to show how it unfolded. Like, how y'all going to make a movie? And if y'all make a movie telling me exactly how it happened in the house, I'm be like, y'all were there. Y'all were.
Well, that's the whole point. They probably just want you to see their narrative about it, like their point of view, their opinion, so they could skew what really happened. Because if I'm telling the story, I'm going to tell it my way, how I think it went through, and bada bing, bada boom. Jimmy Jean Lewis is the actor that plays the president. And the movie is not going too deep outside of July 7th. So that's what's gonna be really cool. But it's like, dang, already? You guys were like prepared. But then again, it was a movie that literally already wrote itself. So I just want to see.
But then that wouldn't that kind of make it look like it was a prediction then? Like, because how have a movie ready in 1 year?
Oh, easy. So to say Haiti welfare, like how much permissions do you need to like shoot on site? But
I don't want to watch no bootleg movie. I love Jimmy, but now I want to.
the trailer actually looked good. I mean, well, I don't know. I mean, it was okay, I guess. So
it's gonna be too much for my mental. I don't think I could process this. I can't break down this.
I can't process it either. But I guess they went for Jimmy because I think he did Toussaint Louverture too. So I'm like, oh, so now he's probably gonna be the face of all the historical movies. So I guess he had to jump on it real quick before somebody else thought of it and snatch that from him. I don't know.
I do see him playing the role though. That's the part about it. I do see him playing the role, but I don't know. I think I'll pass up on that movie, just like I'll pass up on RKelly.
Oh my goodness. Yes. RKelly. Oh my gosh. He just got convicted last week and on charges of course, sexual trafficking or racketeering. So it's so sad. Like if you're looking at him now, that
how do you feel? How do you feel? Like when you heard the verdict, how did you feel? How did that make you feel? Like
I feel like that was overdue based on rumors from way back when. Ever since the Aaliyah situation, when I heard she was 15 and they got married, I was like,
yeah, because
where are her parents? Huh?
Like all the allegations against them started back in 1990.
Yeah. I mean, when I really kind of like was a little bit sour about him was around the time of Aaliyah, but they played that off. It got quieted down. Supposedly, they said somebody gave her a fake ID, made her appear older so that she can get married, and that's what made it legal or something or whatever. But the whole idea of I don't even
a 15-year-old girl, then you were 27 is just
sick.
Yeah.
Aaliyah was a very pretty girl. And I think that's what brings all these pedophiles, if you want to call them, like how they get attracted to young girls, because some of the sick people is probably because they're thinking that, can I even say the word, like they're just sick in their head. Let me just say that they're just sick because there's reasons why they're attracted to the younger kids. Because they're thinking of them of being plump, untouched, unused, whatever you want to think of it. But anyways, like if you exactly, that's how sick they are. They are. Like,
I want to take someone's innocence, and you're like, oh, you're like, ugh, it's disgusting just thinking about it.
But there's also a power trip on that because they're unseasoned. They don't know any better. Again, like you were saying, it's the age of innocence. And then they figured, I can manipulate this person. I can rule this person. I can really have them under my command.
Now, how do we feel about those parents, though? Because some parents actually allowed for those things to happen. So I do understand sometimes we think we're talking about, okay, we're defending innocence, but then how do we approach the parents that allowed this kind of stuff?
Well, let's say, okay, so if you're in America, I'm just going back just so I could bring it back home. If you're in America, you've definitely heard the household name of RKelly. He's a singer. He changed the game for R&B. He was even actually nicknamed R&B, King of R&B. They changed the game for hip hop and everything. And so when situations like this started to come, he got popular, he was becoming famous, he was becoming a celebrity. So it was very easy for him to just tell these parents like, hey, I'm doing a music video, bring your kids or whatever. So parents like for their kids to be popular, famous, rich, like a lot of parents, they aspire for their kids to make it because they didn't. And they bank on the fact that the kids is going to bring home money and save them from the poverty level line that they may be in. So it's very easy to just be like, yeah, my kid is free. My kid is this. Yeah, they'll do it for you. You remember when you were younger, Haitian parents will always be like putting you up for duties you never signed up for.
Right, you never signed up for it. Like, oh, who does this clean? Oh yeah, la clean. Excuse me, ma clean kisa.
Yeah. And they'll be like, oh, la pressure show really conduit kounye.
Oh, that's the worst thing ever do to me. That is the worst thing. If somebody ever volunteers my service to drive somebody away, that person's gonna get stuck wherever the hell they at. Because how you going to drive? First of all, gas don't grow on trees. Gas pad low. How you gonna volunteer my services to other people? Like, that's the one thing my dad know never, ever to do to me. Like,
well, you got lucky because most Haitian parents, they don't care. You're their child. You do as you are told, and you are technically their slave. They don't care.
Right. So, it was the famous Haitian quote, "Bourrique fait petit pour le poser."
Well, I've never heard that one.
What? Oh, listen.
Because I don't see how the bourrique fait petit pour le
poser. Because then, like, if they're not carrying like
all the heavy loads, they're gonna put on the younger ones.
Or their kids can do it now.
So that means the bourrique was singing that I believe the children are the future before Whitney.
Stop. These people are going to have a headache and we are not going to get sued for the singing. I'm kidding.
No, I already know, girl. Like, I'm very famous at breaking windows. Like, nobody got these skills. Okay, so I'm very proud of the fact that I'm the only person that could break lights, break glass, bam. But okay, but no, back on seriousness though. So what do you think about like when a man is using his powers to make sure he gets those kind of things? Because even though he got convicted, RKelly got convicted for 30 years in prison, which is like long overdue. I agree with the people that feels the same way. But but like if you were to see RKelly would be a fan of you. Because you're young, beautiful, and he figures, ooh, she can satisfy my needs. Like, I guess they should probably call these things a disease, but that's what he was doing for his own gratification.
I start to think of it, being that that's what I went to school for. Some people literally, when you see how certain people brains function versus others, like, it's really a mental thing. Like, it's a mental thing, but usually it derives from a trauma. Like, it derives from something. Like, you know how some loners end up being serial killers and everything like that? Because at one point, with them being loners, they end up developing like different how do I say those things again? Like, it's like different personalities. So there's different people speaking in their heads. And because there's different people speaking in their heads, and I want to say this right so I don't shoot myself in the foot, okay, guys? Because my professors will look at me and be mad. But basically, like, with the different personalities, like, you don't know what they're listening to, and then they start to indulge into the things that they're hearing. So because they start to indulge in them, like, now their actions cannot be controlled. And people be like, oh, like, I get it. Like, when sometimes where they be, so for example, like, we had some people that, let's say somebody shot somebody, right? Or they're acting crazy in the streets or whatever. Sometimes it is mental health. Sometimes people do try to make it seem like it is when it isn't. But if I have, but when I think of like RKelly's case, and when I think of him saying that before he did go through some past traumas and everything like that, some people.
Baloney. Right. I'm not knocking people who may have.
Listen. But I think here's my thing. I will never condone you doing anything. And that's what I was trying to say. It's like, I don't care who touched you or this, that, and the third. Yes, it leaves past traumas, but you should remember how it feels and how much of a pain it was to you mentally, emotionally, physically, sexually, for you to actually want to inflict that same pain and worse to somebody else. So I think, like, because you remember how we talked about for mental awareness that we don't really come out and tell people, especially men, they can come out and tell people that oh, they're feeling something, they can't vent like we can, they can't talk about certain issues like we can, because they're meant to be the tough, strong person, even though they're dealing with math stuff, if you get what I'm trying to say. So my thing is, it also goes back to our mental awareness. Like, we need to be able to allow people to vent, to open up, because who knows how sheltered he felt or how sick he felt by himself, like dealing with somebody raping him since he was 8, and he can't talk about it because he's supposed to be a strong man.
But see, that's the thing. When you're how can I say this? When you go through some things and you realize how hurtful it was, I think you should be considerate of saying that, oh, I went through this. This is how it was. I shouldn't do it to somebody else.
But then in that same token, somebody that does things like that will also be like, but nobody cared about how I feel. So why should I care about somebody else's feelings? So, like, I'm looking at it from two perspectives. I do not condone anything that he did, and I'm glad he's going to jail for what he did. But, like, thinking of it from like a mental health perspective, like let's think about what he's thinking, like what made him do what he did. You get what I'm trying to say? So that's my thing.
I just first of all, okay, for somebody to be thinking, okay, I went through some stuff, let me I guess take revenge, or however the story goes. But his thing was so organized. Like, he was getting people, keeping things on the DL for him, keeping things on the hush hush, and so my whole thing is like, okay, how you're not really unstable, because how to pay people to shut them up, to pay people to keep them coming, keep bringing these girls to you, keep bringing those people to you, and things like that. And then the people around him can't even say nothing about it. Because I'm like, if you find RKelly, when you find one, that means there's 1,000 more. You find RKelly, that means there are so many of his likes out there doing these exact same things, abusing these exact people, young girls, young adolescent women, and making them lose their lives, because even though they might go on to live, that past trauma is not going to like go away. And a lot of times when you go through things, you feel like people are not going to hear you. You don't say anything. I'm definitely one of those people, because if I already know society is not going to accept it, the community is not going to believe my truth, I leave it be. And people get away with murder like that. They're the one that's out in the community, out after pastor, out after celebrity, and people's going to be like, no, he didn't do that. But they forget, outside of all the titles, this person is still human. This person has flaws. This person can go down. Even if you're a judge, you'll find all these top people, they have some hidden, how people have hidden talent? They got those hidden, dirty, dark, like, just to each his own. But it's bad when you're like messing up other people. Like, okay, it's one thing, like if you're watching porn in your living room, bedroom, you're not hurting anybody with that. You're just messing with you. It's just you and your bulvazine. I don't know what guys, I'm thinking of me when I'm saying that. But the thing, you're not hurting anybody. All of it is you. I don't know how outside of when you get together with people, how that affects your, interaction with them, but that's just really you. But when you take it out, you like literally are manipulating these young women who don't know any better, who think that, maybe you are going to give them a chance at stardom or popularity, and they keep coming in. That's messed up. And you could hear all the people at the case, at the trial, who was confessing, who was testifying to things. You see, and you're like, wow,
yeah,
power and fame.
That, but I'm saying everybody that did something no matter I'm sorry, excuse my French, guys. No matter how it was, there's a reason. So every time somebody do something, like I sit there and think about why. What was your reason? And what was RKelly's reason? Yes, we can blame it on trauma. We can blame it on, I mean, it's a lot of
Whatever
factors.
you blame it on, it's definitely still unexcusable because look at the end result right now. Yeah, your career is gone. You're gonna be stuck in prison. Who knows what they're gonna do to you there? And I know his lawyer says they are going to appeal this. There's nothing to appeal, my friend, because I've been hearing these rumors for like years and years and years. I was just coming to the country. I'm like, ooh, I ain't stepping to the name of love no more. You know, like I believe I can fly. So those maybe those are songs that I feel now that I'm hearing all of this that he probably wrote once he saw that he got away with stuff.
So now here's a $1 million question, huh? If now that he's been convicted, 30 years or whatever, now should all his, like, I know they say cancel RKelly and everything, but there's people that still listen to his song. I'm not gonna lie to you, I still listen to I Believe I Can Fly sometimes. I still listen to certain songs by RKelly, like, but now do you think like it should be like he should be completely wiped out, like all his music and everything like that kind of thing, like they should pull everything back? Do you think that?
That is indeed $1 million question that we are out of time to answer. So that means
so that means we to that next episode. I don't like that.
Yeah, that's exactly what that means. We're gonna have to discuss that on the next episode, and maybe we'll do it as a live. What do you think? But anyways, $1 million question is because I know my answer to that. I definitely know my answer to that. As a matter of fact, what is your answer to that, audience? What is your answer to the fact that RKelly should be canceled? Should he be canceled or should he not be canceled? We're gonna stay tuned for your answers, and then we'll do a part 2 to be continued with this, and just get all the facts straight, and definitely have to talk about the Gustavex, how it flows into the Haitian community, because well, I mean, child trafficking, you know, all of that. Haitians, the Creole is rough sometimes.
Oh, but rough. See, at this one, I'm starting to question: are you still Haitian? Eh? Oh. How you forget the wait there, TV?
No pays qu'à parler anglais chaque jour, okay? So forgive me. But anyways, nous pas aller dans des, on va dire mon au revoir. Lady D3, did you freeze on me? Oh, there you go. She looked like she's praying. I'm gonna take that as our sign to really end this episode. Guys, thank you so much for joining in. I hope she's trying to come through, y'all. She's trying.